Hello everyone and welcome to DAT 212 3D Graphics and Animation 1. My name is Stephanie and I just want to give you guys a quick overview of how we're going to be using Blackboard for this class, in part because we have a much shorter class time with this being a hybrid. I want to save class time for the 3D related things and for you all to be able to ask questions in person. So just a brief overview of sort of the mechanics of this class. Step one will be getting used to being on Blackboard and using your school email. So there will be communication through both of those venues. So we're looking at Blackboard right now. Obviously, you will not have a giant orange bar on top of yours. That's just so I can make mine look like your end. And the announcements page. So I will post information on here. We've already had a few things posted. I will try to limit which things get directly sent to your email because I don't want to spam you, but there are important things that come up on here. So if there is this, snow emergency and the school has to be closed, I will post on here what to do about the missing class. There's information that will come up that will be timely, and so it will get sent to you as well. But you should still be checking this to make sure you're seeing everything. Also, our syllabus, which is currently at this very moment the draft one. I will be posting the real one shortly. But just to, if we take a look at this real quick, these there is going to be a week to week up here, and it won't be the draft, it'll be the real thing, but it's still not set in stone. So one thing I like to make clear to my students is that yes, we have a schedule and we have a plan, and we have certain assignments that are listed, but do not use this to know your due dates. This is not, you know, what your due dates are set up as, because there's always things that go wrong. We could have a class that goes over on time and I want to give us more time on a particular assignment. There's a lot of reasons why things might change. So please just use this as a general idea to get to know the class. But otherwise, we want to be sticking with looking at where the actual assignments are. Speaking of actual assignments, all of your assignments will be posted here under assignments. And there's only a couple things you'll see right now. Actually, by the time you get to this video, you won't see really any of these. I just made them visible for the video. So these will pop up as we get to various weeks. So the thing for week 1 will pop up when we get to class. The thing for week 2 will pop up the following week. So a few different things will pop up on here. Sometimes it's lecture materials. So when we get to week 2, we're going to need a couple of different Maya files. And so I post these here so that you can download them. Those I usually try to put up a little bit early to make sure you guys have what you need. And then the assignments might say workshop, they might say midterm, they might say final. But this is your homework. Occasionally something is it's just an in-class thing, but either way, these are the assignments and these are what you have to hand in, and they will all look something like this. So they'll have a name, and then a lot of them we start in class. So let's say today in class we did a thing, and it should have all of these aspects to it. So, bare minimum, you need to make sure if you fell behind that you add all of these properties to what you were doing. And then if you would like to improve your grade and get something more than a C plus, let's say, here's some other things you can do, right? So that's what most of our assignments, which I'm calling workshops, are going to be, because we start them in class, but then you complete them on your own time. And then hopefully, if I update these all properly, they should all list the due date here. But of course, you can also click on them and they'll list the due date formally here as well with the time. The time is at the start of class. So really logging in takes time, and we should be able to start class right at 3:30 because it is a shorter time. So you want to be logged in before that, and all set up, file, submitted, and then like at 3:30 we start class. It also tells you how many points it's worth, and then of course I'm assuming you have all used Blackboard before, but you would attach your files, and then hit submit. Now make sure your files have your name on it. You can call them whatever you want after that. You can call it Decorative Box Workshop 2, whatever you want, but your last name needs to be on the file, not when you type it in here, but like when you save it on your computer. Because otherwise, when I download them all as a bulk object, I don't know whose is whose, right? So again, make sure you put your last name on your files that you submit. All right. If you notice something wrong with a due date or a due time, because maybe I didn't update it from last semester and it says it was due in March of 2020, please let me know. Don't panic when you see the, little yellow exclamation point that it was late. It might be that I have the wrong due date up. Just let me know that I've done that and I will fix it right away. But this is where you'll be submitting stuff. This is where you'll get information from. Please read these carefully. And pay attention to them, because I take a lot of time to write out a lot of stuff. In fact, I can go to where the full assignments are. Now, please do not take these as gospel, because what I'm showing you is not updated for this semester. But this is the description for the midterm. It's not a lot of stuff you have to do. This is the stuff you have to do. This is what I will be looking at for that assignment. I take a lot of time to specify what we're looking at, because I want you to know what is expected of you, which means when we get to whatever the assignment is and you're handing it in, I do not want to hear, oh, is this good enough? Is this done? That is not a question you should ever be asking me. I show examples from other students if I can. I write out exactly what is expected. And it is up to you as to how far you want to fulfill that. So if you do the bare minimum, you'll get a C. And if you do a little bit more, you might get a B. If you do it really well, but it's the bare minimum, you might get a B. And then if you do a lot more and you do it really well, then you can get an A. And we will talk a little bit more about that in later weeks, but just know that this is college. You are adults. It is not for me to give you permission to say, oh, this is done. No, you decide when your work is done. You decide when it is to the quality that you would like, based on the other examples I will show you. Your assignments are here. Your grades are here. So there'll be a few different things up. You'll always have your average, like your running cumulative average, your total amount of points. So like 80 out of 90 points for all the different assignments. The assignments are all worth different amounts. So some of them might be worth, 25 points. Maybe the midterm is worth more than that. So those will all be told up, but that average will tell you, whether you're getting an A, a B, or C, etc. Once I grade them, the grade will come in here and there will be comments underneath. For most of the assignments, I give you some notes as to what's going on. Please read them. Also, participation. This will go up as we go through the months. So there's only one class in January, so it's 5 points. But once we get to February, there's more weeks, therefore there's more points you can get. So this total number is going to change, and I'll update it probably at the end of every month to give you an idea of how your participation is affecting your grade. I want you to know as soon as possible what your actual average is. To that end, attendance. So it's spelled out somewhere in the syllabus, but I will say it here. You can miss one class without there being any ill effect on your grade at all. It's like a freebie because everyone gets sick once or has a bad day or tire breaks, whatever. But after that, you will start to lose some participation points for not being in class. We'll go over how you can review the material in a second, but just know that there's no excuse to unexcuse. If you have a major illness, though, if you have some sort of major crisis that will last multiple weeks, talk to Professor Ray, and he will talk to me, and we will, make arrangements, right? We're not going to be unreasonable. Certainly not under today's standards. So we want to make sure, that you can, that we're giving you some flexibility. But there is value to being in class, in particularly since you can log in online even if you're not even in the same state as us. So we want to make sure that you're participating somehow, but not so much that it wrecks you. So don't drive a broken car to school just to get to class. There are ways to make that up. Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. This is our online classroom. Now, if you're working in the school itself, you may not get involved with this at all, but it's still a place where you can look to see where things have been recorded. So those of you logging in remotely, this is where you will go. So DAT 212, remote learning. Click this. Now, none of the classes are available yet. We are not on the date. When we get closer to the date, I have them starting at 3:15 just so you can get into the classroom early and get settled or whatever. Class does start at 3:30, but they are repeating every week. I can't tell it to not repeat on spring break. So we do not have, I think that's the spring break date. We do not have class on spring break. I will make that disappear when we get closer to that date. But for right now, these are just all the different classes, and they will be recorded. And once they are recorded, we click here and we go to recordings, and they will show up here once we actually have class. And so you can review things afterwards. Another method of review that we may use depending on how things go is I have a YouTube channel. It's under Shipwreck Stuff. And there is a playlist for this exact class. This class was taught last semester or last year to spring 2020 for the first time with Maya. So there is a lot of stuff up here. I will link to a specific thing if I think it's relevant, but it is also just another way to see how things were done. In case you need a different kind of review than what happened in class. Maybe class we had lots of questions, and so we didn't really get into certain things. So I may occasionally post a review video from here to be like, if you want to learn more about this, click here. All right, so let's see. Announcements. Blackboard is where class is going to take place. Assignments is where you will submit things and learn what our assignments are in the first place. And my grades is where you will learn what your grade is. Don't ask me how you're doing until you check this first. If you'd like to know why you got a particular grade, check my comments. And then if you have questions after that, by all means, let me know. But the first thing you want to do is check on here, see if you're missing something. And then we'll go from there. All right, so I just wanted to make sure everyone knew how we were going to be using Blackboard. I'll probably post another one of these next week with a few more details on like grading and whatever, how to submit things. But for right now, I want to make sure everyone knows how to get to Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, and how to get to class if you're going remote, and of course where to find your assignments. You can start to find more information on class as we go through the semester.